I'm so excited to have you all here. We have about 140 people that are registered for the webinar today and the podcast. So we'll be recording this so we can put this out to you. I have wonderful people with me. I have the fabulous Hank Ebling. He's actually a small business entrepreneur and founder of H4 Training Gyms. He owns 2 gyms. He's got 10 staff. Some are part-time, some are full-time. He's got a degree in kinesiology and exercise science. He's passionate about delivering exceptional service. He hosts a wonderful podcast called Success Trails Podcast that gives insights into business growth. He's also been a fitness manager for Equinox, and he inspires others to pursue their entrepreneurial goals. We also have Roberto Milani, and I met Roberto through the IDEA convention, and we just really hit it off. He's amazing. He actually is a group fitness manager for In Shape Family Fitness, and you're not going to believe this, but he provides education, training, and development. This just gives me a migraine for 300 coaches. Fabulous. He's got an MBA in sports and fitness management and certified through just about everybody. I've also got Bob Asquari, who I've been a fan forever. I love this man. Plus, he's from New York. You can't help but love the dude. He's a distinguished professional. He's got 13 years in corporate America, almost 40 years in the fitness industry. He's an expert in Group X, personal training, and fitness direction. He's a real coach for club owners and managers. He provides fabulous coaching for people. And he's worked, of course, for people like Equinox, Genesis, and others. And we have my dear, lovely friend who kept me alive during the pandemic, Ann Gilbert. Ann has created some of our water and motion training for Platinum. She did that for 4 years. She has created the great SEAT program, supported exercise for ageless training. She was the ACE and the HFI or URSA Personal Trainer of the Year. She's a speaker at, oh my gosh, FBA, Succeed. She's received Trainer of the Year. She's presented at URSA or HFA, SCW. Amazing fitness professional. Of course, I have SCW Fitness Education's creative director, Sean Senegan, who's wonderful in running this for us. We're going to show you a really short little video about part-time staff for full service success. I think. All right. It may be coming later.
A little bit of a technical issue right now.
Okay. All right. I love technical. There we go. If it pops up, I'll stop talking. But I'm very excited about this webinar because we're really going to talk about hiring, managing, growing part-time staff for success, how to create that cohesion, how to elevate your service standards and improve your quality of your programming. And I really got to chat with these people before we turned the camera on. And my first thing was, how in the heck do we find people? Now, I'm going to start with you, Bob, because when did you start? In the 1830s?
I beg your pardon. I'm the oldest person here, but I'm not that old. So that means 1983, started teaching aerobics. So I am that old into aerobics, personal training, being a fitness director at Equinox, New York City, 1983, 84. That's when I started. Or 93, 94. Excuse me. Yeah. You're getting me all confused with age.
All right. But how do you find people? I know it has application today.
Okay.
It sticks.
As difficult as it is, we have casting calls. So I know it's a challenge, but if we give them a reason to come, if we give them a reason to join us as we recruit them and a reason to refer their friends to us, they're going to come. So the question is, I look at employees as customers. Why would a customer come to me? Why should an employee come to me? I have to give them a reason. Am I creating a sense of value for them to join me, not just in terms of salary, but in terms of benefits, experience, career aspirations, and some time off when we look at balance, but if they can be successful within their own skin, within my universe, we have an absolute match. They're happy, we're happy, and my customers are happy as well.
And didn't you also do this with Equinox, that they had a ladder to climb?
Absolutely. We create a structured program, the first one globally, in fact, as you get better educated, as you increase your entrepreneurial skills, as you increase your technical skills, the blend, the ability of being happy, playing with people in a positive way, engaging people in a positive way, giving them a roadmap specific to them to be successful based on our new educational skill sets. We go from level 1, level 2, level 3. The intent is for every contact hour, we make more money gross and net as a fit pro, but so does the organization. So we mastered that technique. But again, the reason they want to come in is that there was that career aspiration, that career ladder, the in-house training program as well. That made sense.
And you have an amazing program that really helps to attract people. Can you please share that?
Well, we call it the launch program, and it's been around for many, many years, but it is that pathway that Bob's talking about, the stepping stone. And you know what? When you step up to another level, it might not be the right level for you or for your life, for your work-life balance, especially for part-time. So we always spend not only time launching them up, but making sure that we're always addressing whether they're good in that spot. Because if they don't fit in that spot, we're going to find another place for them to stay within. So we find that pathway system or launch system has worked the best. Most of my employees, though, have come from the front row of the group fitness class and or a successful, with a testimonial, personal trainer. And we give them the means by which they can start.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I think, Roberto, you had I loved this saying, you've been spotted. Was that it? Could you please share about that?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So in my clubs, we created, actually, we made business cards where on the front it said, "You've been spotted." And then it was on the back, my name, email, all contact information, where basically whenever, because as a manager, I'm always in class, taking classes, watching, coaches delivering, group fitness classes as well as small group training. If we see someone that really looks like they're engaged, most of the time they're in the front row, but not all the time. But we can see that there is a talent there, at least in terms of artistry. Then we'll definitely approach them and say, "Hey, you've been spotted," in a good way, and then that's how we start the conversation.
And it makes them feel special and
absolutely
notice that you're appreciated.
Yeah, and then also we offer, as a company, we offer them a path to where they want to go. And especially if, let's say, they're in a class where they're doing, let's just say, a Zumba class, or we work very, very closely with Les Mills, so one of our educational partner, then we can offer them discounts in terms of becoming an instructor by offering like a discount code to attend a training, which, for somebody, it can be expensive at first, especially not knowing how to do it. And we basically hold their hands along the way. And sometimes, they know some of our instructors as well. So we let them partner up with each other. So then there's kind of the best, it's the best of both worlds in this case. Somebody who knows our brand, they're passionate about fitness, they know what to expect. They've been a member before, so they know what they want and they know what they want to deliver as a class experience.
And what I'd like you guys to do, all the people that are on this webinar, we've got over 50 of you, which is very exciting. Please put in the chat your first name and where you're from. We love that. We want to hear from you. And if you have questions, we will answer. We've got these amazing panelists. Now, Hank, I didn't forget about you. Okay. And I think it's wonderful that we've got In Shape has 300 coaches. We're talking about, Equinox, we're talking about larger brands, but how, as a smaller brand, are we going to attract people and find them and get them to come and bring these great qualities that they have to our business?
I think the attraction comes to figuring out what most people want or what the specific person wants nowadays, which for most it's freedom. So are you giving them that time off? Are you giving them opportunities to explore what else they might want to do? So some gyms, fitness facilities are very rigid, like you're with us and that's it. Now, I'm not saying we let someone go across the street and start training there, but we give them the flexibility. Hey, if you want to spend 50% of your time doing online coaching, if you have your own brand on social media, if you're teaching Pilates 2 towns over, I'm not going to tell you how to make a living and how to support yourself and your family. As long as you're still bought into what we're doing, part of our culture, and committed, you can do whatever you want. We're happy to give you that freedom. And I think that helps attract more people versus being very rigid. Because if you're looking at part-time help, it's just going to be impossible to say, hey, you're going to work for us 5, 10, 15, 20 hours a week, and sorry, you can't do anything else. Is going to be a challenge to find people. So I think having a little more open-mindedness and giving people flexibility, especially what younger people want, and that's with more time off, having the ability to do what they want in a way, right? So I think you just got to think a little more outside the box and be a little more flexible as a owner and operator.
Yeah, and I also like that you're able to see the individual, because a lot of us work part-time, and I think we have an incredibly unique profession. These are people that look at the job not as a job, it's a career. And usually when you're looking at a career, it's a full-time person. I'm sorry, I'm a fitness professional and this is my career. So finding that buy-in is kind of hard to do. And that I do like that. How do we keep them connected, and how do we find these people? We started talking a little bit about, we found them on LinkedIn, we sometimes find them on Instagram, because we're not going to be able to do these cattle calls that we used to do. You know, they don't want to walk in your door. They're important. They want to Zoom. So how do you get them that touch and feel? Like Roberto, how do you do that?
So again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, just internally in the classes, current members, basically that. And then we also have, actually, I forgot to mention, outside every single studio's door, there is a QR code, because now it's QR code everything, right? We have, if you want to be an instructor, do you want to, make change, do you want to help somebody change their life, and improve their health in this, please, take a photo of this, and that starts the process. Oftentimes, there's people that are a little bit lost, in the sense that they don't know, they want to do it, and this is where I feel very very fortunate, because I'm able to share my experience of over 33 decades and help them sort of find their niche, because a lot of times that it's not there just yet. But otherwise, we also internally with our current team member, like Hank talked about before, especially for our small group training, we have developed a lot of internal training that will take somebody with the passion for fitness and also the soft skills, because we can always send somebody to learn how to be a trainer with NASM, ACE, ACSM, but the soft skills, the ability to listen to the customer, to the member, to the client, whether it's a small group training, a group fitness class, those are things that are sometimes more difficult to teach, somewhat.
You know what's kind of happened, Roberto, at least, and Bob, I'm going to call on you just 1 second. What's kind of happened is we have all this online training in SCW. We have 42 different certifications. That's insane. That's online. Yeah. But if you don't get in front of people, if you don't get that live training, I mean, I love all the certification organizations, but it's not just about a test, and it's not just about a video. We always, and Anne's a big believer in this because she leads our live courses. If you take our online course, you get the live course free within a year, like where you're breathing in front of somebody. And Bob, I think you got very interested about the soft skills.
Well, here's the challenge. And I came out of the front row, and some folks may not understand what that means. So if we go into a group environment for the first time, is what I did back in the 80s, I didn't go into the front row. I went to row 6. My ability to go from row 6 to row 5 to row 4 to row 3 to row 2 to be invited to row 1 taught me and taught the audience I play well with others. I'm able to make people in front of me feel so comfortable that they'll let me into their space. I'm in their space. Then the next row, I have to make them feel comfortable to let me in their space. If I can go from 6 or 7 to 2 and 1, that person I'm going to hire. And guess what? I got hired. That's what Roberto's talking about. That ability to do that is unbelievable. I will hire or recruit anybody who can do that.
Yeah, and it does. It shows something. And you're gonna just about to share something.
Can you tell? Can you tell? You know
Yeah.
what? I think that everybody out there needs to realize that if they get a potential recruit, if they get a potential hire, it is like a new lead to join your facility. And I think that we have to become better at listening, like Hank said, like everyone has said, as to what they need in their part-time job to see if it fits in our facility. I have made mistakes. Now, admit it, men out there, Sarah, admit it. We've made mistakes by telling a recruit or a hire exactly what we want. And it isn't the job description, but well, we have this and we want this. And instead of stepping back, just like in a sales transaction, and talk and listen to what these part-time people want. I think it's essential right now. It's very, very important that we really listen instead of tell them what we're looking for. Ask them. So relook at your hiring process, your interview. If they want to be on Zoom, then you do the Zoom. If they want to meet at Starbucks, then you meet at Starbucks. If they want to come in the club, you move over, because it's just like a new lead and they have to really feel you and you have to feel them before they're going to be recruited into your facilities. Experience is one thing, but if they can deliver a better experience in your facility than they could outside, then they're your new hire. So look at them as if they were in a sales transaction.
Oh, I
Okay?
like that. And
Yeah.
Hank, you're nodding and you're like, talk to us. Talk to us about how you found those people, recruit those people, and get them connected into your culture.
Yeah, I think in terms of the recruiting, we're all kind of echoing very similar, but it's looking not just in the fitness industry. You know, what a lot of us are talking about is the whole hire for the soul, train for the role type thing. You're just looking for characteristics.
Hey, wait,
And
say that again.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's
I
awesome.
can't take credit for that, but it's hire for the soul, train for the role. So some people might hear, right, hire the traits and train the skills, stuff like that. But look at your daily life, the restaurants you visit, other things that you frequent. You might come across somebody who just delivers amazing service, is such a great people person. Who cares if they're not in fitness? They never taught a session in their life. They've never done anything in fitness. That person can be plugged into your culture and easily turned into the top trainers. Those usually are the best trainers, or the best people. People, right? Always sounds funny, but and the second thing, some people could go, ooh, don't do this, but you're not poaching people. But in today's day and age, when it's tough to find people, when you seek people out, social media, and that could be LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm going to message people. It could be at a local YMCA fitness center in the town. It could be another gym, not necessarily right near you. And it's like, hey, you know what, Ann? I feel like you might be a great fit for us. I don't know if you're happy. I don't know if you're getting the hours that you're looking for and the culture that you like where you're currently at. But if any of those aren't fitting with your current situation, would love to touch base with you. So I'm not poaching. I'm not going to go in there and steal anybody. That's not really appropriate. But hey, there's a lot of really great people working for terrible bosses and bad cultures. And you know what? That's too bad for that individual if they're not taking care of their people, because we will. So I don't feel bad getting somebody out of a bad situation. So some people might go, oh my goodness, you can't do that. But you have to do it in a tasteful way, which is not just, you know, going in person per se, but just asking, hey, I'm not sure, but so if you don't do that already, I think that's how we approach a lot of it.
And that's a very good idea. Now, I think a lot of you know that I'm a lawyer, so I'm always staying up to date on what's going on with the law. The Federal Trade Commission passed a rule where non-competes are invalid. Okay, you can keep a non-compete if they're at a higher level or a C-suite level, which means they're the CFO, they're the CEO, they're the director. Okay. But as an instructor, as a personal trainer, non-competes are found to be invalid, which means that it's legal to poach. Okay, that's a little gross. I'm sorry. Is that one of the sayings, like hire the soul, train for the role? It's legal to poach. It's not, and I like what you said, Hank. It's not, it's kind of icky. I wouldn't want to work for somebody who was a little too aggressive poaching me, but I like people showing interest. If you want to retain your instructors and your personal trainers, you gotta keep them happy. So, Anne, how do you keep your people happy?
23 years, we just celebrated one of the recognition, I think, is huge. Appreciation, of course, those are old terms, but they work for me. I love to be appreciated. I love to be recognized, and it should be part of your daily routine. Recognize small things, big things, but make sure that it's also seen within the whole population of your location. I really believe in recognition. I like bonuses, and I like different bonuses from month to month, and incentives. So I will ask my team in the team meeting, we call it the leadership team, because we want them to feel like they have a say in most of the decision making. Whether you make the final decision or not, you can give them a say what they would like to be incentivized with. And you'll be surprised. It's a trip to Disney in Florida. It's a trip to Busch Gardens, or a drink out on the town. And I also believe that the key to retention is team building activities outside the gym. We just did, I'm just going to share this one really quick, Sarah. Our whole team got together and we did the Great Race. Remember that TV show where people travel all over the world? And they broke up in teams and they had destinations. They were the leadership team's homes, get it? And they had to complete these tasks, and it was a race. And we literally found ourselves racing each other down the street to the next destination. But team building is huge. I think that's something that should be every single quarter. And then lastly, if I may, we bring these professionals to us on a quarterly meeting. We just had a professional this past week. Our trainers love it. They get in-house Zoom call education at a very skilled level, because like that was said before, many of us can't afford to go to all the conventions. And I always give away conventions every single year. So those are my ways of retaining. I think it's pretty cool. They work.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, we're SCW. If you want a discount, ask for it.
I ask.
Roberto talked about all the different certification organizations. Ask for it. You'll be surprised how people will support you. We got a very interesting, and I am going to come back to this team building because I think we got a lot of great ideas here. Is a conflict of interest the same as a non-compete? No, it's not. A lot of people have people sign agreements that they're not going to compete, meaning if they leave, they won't teach at another facility within a 10-mile radius for 6 months or a year. Those are the things that are seen to be invaluable, that are invalidated by the FTC regulation, but different states are responding differently. Texas said the FTC ruling, it's not valid and we're not upholding it. That was the Texas Supreme Court. So that was pretty interesting, what's going on. But the main thing is if it's company secrets, you can't disclose them. That's not a non-compete. So I could just start a job immediately, but I can't start disclosing company secrets. So that's pretty interesting. I think that is fascinating. And then the team building. So who was nodding? Somebody was nodding and waving their hand. I don't know. Okay, Bob, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh my God.
I'm trying, just because I'm from New York, I'm trying not to be pushy. However, one of the points that Ann made, and I want to reiterate that, we should be taking care of our employees the way we respect our customers. If we respect them and give them a sense of pride and self-respect working for the organization. Why? Because we teach them, we inspire them, we motivate them, we empower them to take care of themselves and our customers. If there's that mutual respect, they're not going to want to leave. So, I mean, that's a consideration. Why do people want to quit? Do they want to quit because we create a toxic atmosphere? And if it's not a toxic atmosphere, they're not going to leave. And your folks have been there, your Fit Pros, 15, 20, 25 years. because something special is happening in your environment. And Roberto, it's a bigger box, but they're staying with you. And Hank, it's a smaller box, but they're staying with you. They're staying for a reason. We respect them. It's non-toxic. We love it. We love it.
And it's interesting,
Respectful.
Joanne Groves, who's a wonderful presenter, she's presented at Mania several times. She said, people feel that they can't fail if they're not being like judged, if they're allowed to learn. And I like this. That's very, very important. Hank, do you do some type of team building? You know, you have a smaller group, but how do you keep them so engaged for such long periods of time?
Yeah, we have monthly meetings. We have 2 monthly meetings each month, and we always start every month with talking about our surprise and delight budget. So we talk about members and, who we can divvy up our budget to in terms of that end. And then we always start with some sort of either get to know each other, like what we've been doing for the last couple months is we got one of those little spinner wheels, and each one has a category and it's a top 5 list. So today was top 5 favorite Christmas movies or holiday movies. And so everyone around the room shared that. So we laughed, poke fun at each other. Oh, I can't believe you would say this. You left this one out. Just a way to get to know each other and keep it fresh and not just be so much exercise and fitness and sales and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we do. And just like Ann, we do outside team building, whether it's mini golf or, bumper cars, you name it, whatever it might be, but just to keep things, not just so much about inside the walls of the gym.
Right. And Roberto, you've got such a large team. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you don't meet with all 300 at one time. Is
That's a big
there,
party.
there was with, this is pretty fascinating, with Bill Gates used to do this. There's a 2 pizza rule that they do not want to have a department over the number of people where 2 pizzas could be eaten by the entire staff. And they felt that that was a cohesive way to maintain that they didn't get too big. I thought that was pretty fascinating. 2 pizza.
is. Yeah. For us, Sarah, like you mentioned, it's hard because and currently at the company where I work right now in Shape, we have clubs that go from Sacramento, which is up North California, all the way down to Bakersfield. And we actually just acquired 7 clubs in Tennessee. So it's like smaller cohorts of instructors or that get together with their, maybe there is like a cluster of, clubs like where I live close to San Francisco. And we found that a lot of the events that we plan for our members all of a sudden become team building events for our instructors. They all want to be part of the fun and excitement. For instance, we every 3 months we do Les Mills relaunch. As instructors go nuts about it, and they all of a sudden instead of having 1 or 2 instructors launching the program, you have 10, 15 instructors inside, and then everybody, they go out for dinner or out for lunch, they all hang out together. And so again, focusing on that incredible community feel that is so powerful within this smaller cohorts, things like that. But the other thing also that I wanted to mention in regards to a conversation we're having, what can we offer our part-time and instructors and coaches? And because a lot of them are mothers, we offer them free kids club, which is the ability, because one of the major issues, like, what am I going to do with my kids while I'm teaching? And childcare is expensive. So we provide free childcare for all our instructors. So that's something that has been very, very, very useful.
You've got to look at your avatar for who your instructors are. So I think that's very valuable. Billy made a wonderful comment. Billy, I'm going to come back to your comment. I promise. But right now, Sean said, again, I'm going to ask you if you would mind playing our Zen Planner video. We could not have these webinars without our wonderful sponsor, Zen Planner.
Is your fitness business ready for a boost? Zen Planner is here to help. Our software simplifies success by handling the heavy lifting in your operations. Designed by industry experts, we provide tailored solutions that let you focus on what matters most. Fuel brand loyalty and turn your passion into profit with our lead generating tools. Zen Planner supports your business journey every step of the way. Visit zenplanner.com today.
I think that's fantastic. It was funny. I was at our last Dallas Mania convention, which just ended about a week and a half ago. And we were in our business summit. We have wonderful business presenters. Ann presents there. Bob presents there. I'm hoping to get Roberto and Hank to come in. But we were talking about finding your passion and being able to turn it into profit. And you know what? We have to feel so special. Do you know how many people are out in the world that are lost and they don't know their purpose? And this was emphasized through the pandemic. They're lost. They don't know their purpose. They don't know their passion. All of you on this call, you know your passion. And now here is how, with this, none of your business, this is how we can harness it and help each other. And we actually got a question from Billy that I thought was very, very interesting. And he says he's sorry if he missed it, but where do you actively seek people to hire? And he put in Indeed. And he said, where do you find a job description? I also think a great job description can be found on Indeed, but I got a very interesting piece of advice from Gail Bannister Munn, who's one of our wonderful certification leaders and presenters. She runs, I think we mentioned this, she runs like, I think it's 8 crunches in the Northeast area, and she scours Instagram. So it is, Billy, that's kind of one of the cool things that's happening. So how do we re-motivate our part-time staff? I mean, I love that we have these meetings and we have our relaunches. We do the launches every 3 months, new choreography, new music. You have everything updated, on your app, on your phone for teaching. We do that with Water in Motion. We do it in Seat, but that's like every 3 months. What do we do after about a month and a half when I'm coasting along and I'm like, what am I doing? And I can't get a babysitter and I'm going through a divorce, and I'm not going through a divorce, but and God knows I don't need any babysitters. Oh dear Lord, save me now. But what do we do? How do you individualize and lift up your staff? I mean, Ann, you've got a very tight team, but it's a pretty large team.
I think that we need to really revisit the value of a review and how positive a review can be, and using some tools like the SWOT, which we all know, and really sitting down and almost re-interviewing every 3 to 6 months that particular employee, that part-time employee, to make sure you haven't lost touch of why they came to you and what you expected out of them. And I think that sometimes we get so busy. I know I do. It's crazy. Toilets flushing and pools overflowing and turning green and classes being covered, that we forget the value of sitting down at one-to-one, not necessarily with the whole team, and looking at a SWOT and seeing what their strength is and their weakness and what opportunities we have that we maybe didn't address yet, and what would threaten that person from being involved. So I am not, until recently, very good at discipline. And I think that if I were better at reviews and perspective talk, and not just rah-rah motivation and education, which is what we've talked about so far, motivation and education. If I got better at real perspective talk and took that time to really dig down and make sure that I was still listening the way I did the day I hired them, then I might have a better opportunity to retain that person. So perspective talk to avoid discipline, and then also a SWOT.
All right, like there's I don't know whether to call him Hank or Bob, but Bob is
This is a dance today, isn't it? It's a dance.
All right,
today.
Bob, you get a 2 minutes. I'm going over to Hank, and then Roberto's, going.
Okay. I'll be quick.
Okay.
I look at employees as I look at my customers. What we do or don't do is emotionally based. So the ability to read and interpret not the spoken, but the unspoken is a skill set we don't do a good job at all. We're great scientists. We're not great people at all. My issue has been we should be embedding emotional intelligence training, EQ, into the training process. That process gives us the ability of not only taking care of the employee, but also the customer, and back and forth. So yes, we have the quarterly reviews, but the crisis may happen 2 days after they had a good day. How do we stay in sync in a timely basis as opposed to the quarterly review? So we do the reviews, but we should be in sync as we are needed based on what we see and what we feel as a response from that critically important person, that employee.
That's
That's
great.
less than 2
And
minutes.
Hank, you were going to answer Billy's question.
Yeah, I mean, you got some great questions coming in, so we should definitely answer those. So to Billy, anyone else out there, he asked about job descriptions, which I think you see a lot of employers put out very boring, blah job descriptions, the classic, personal trainer needed, experience, ideal, not necessary, apply within, or it's something so generic that nobody's going to pay attention to it, especially today's distracted individual. So you have to add a little bit something extra to it, maybe brag about what you're about, your culture, put something in there like, hey, we're the anti big box gym, whatever it can be, but you got to shine a little bit. And then to kind of touch on his point, or his question, when you're interviewing people too, after the job description, create what's called like an ITM, so an ideal team member. Look at your A players. What are the attributes, characteristics that they have? And you're not looking for, that exact person, a clone, but you're looking for something very similar because they've had success. So when you're sitting in there with Sarah in the interview, you're sitting there with that ITM for that position going check, check, check. Can you check at least 70% of those boxes, that individual? That's likely someone that's going to be a great fit. So that gives you a little more structure versus kind of shooting in the dark on the interview. But the job description, don't be boring, don't be blah. If you're not a good writer, use ChatGPT, get someone on your team or your spouse that's a great writer, and formulate something that's going to get a little more attention, because you have to draw attention just like marketing.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, I'm sure Sean Senigan, our creative director who's running this webinar, is laughing because I am like addicted to ChatGPT. You can't take everything it spews out at you as gospel and block and paste. I can smell a reference letter that's been made with ChatGPT. It reeks of it. But you can take it and use it and pull it. And I love the idea, Hank, of making it clever and who you are. And it's interesting because you do want diverse employees, because that will also bring in diverse clients. But we really try to niche down. If you're a smaller business and you're trying to really hone in on that culture, niching down, finding what you need in a person really does help tremendously with that. I think, Roberto, you were going to help share something.
So I was going to say something about kind of along the lines what Anne talked about before about evaluation, quarterly review, and things like that, especially for a large business, right? Where you said, I have 300. When I was at 24-Hour Fitness, at one point I had 1,000 instructors and coaches, and across 2 states. So then it's the face time that sometimes is just doesn't have to be an evaluation or a feedback. So sometimes we used to call them, a high five. You're just walking in the class and just kind of giving that connection. Hey, we haven't forgotten about you. You're still an important part of our business, and we appreciate you. So and not just, we always tried as best we can, and we're still doing right now, to not just be coming from me, but also coming from the club team, the general manager, the assistant general manager, if the area manager is there. So that instructor, that coach, the trainer, all of a sudden feels super important, and they're being recognized in front of their peers, in front of their members. It's priceless. Also, when we do through I call them feedback, not so much, I hate evaluation, but it's really lifting them up, because I would say that 80% of our instructors, every time I came into a role, they felt that we're forgotten. Sometimes I would hear, wow, I haven't been evaluated, or I haven't had an evaluation or a review session in 3 years. And they were like, please tell me, what can I do to get better? I really want to learn. So there's this desire, this eagerness to really get better, because it is like you said, it's their passion. They're not doing really this for the money. They're doing it because they're really, but at the same time, I make it very clear to them, you need to be compensated for what the heart and soul that you put in this, because I've been there and I know how much it takes.
And the other thing we need to look at is if we've got individuals that hold particular talents on our team, like, oh, person is an amazing Pilates instructor. This person is an amazing HIIT instructor. This person, is the old person whisperer, who's that particular trainer. Letting them do a training, even if it's for 20 minutes during your regular staff meeting, or maybe it's a whole 2-hour workshop. Encouraging them to lead others and train others makes them really feel special and helps them in that respect. Bob, you're nodding with that. Have you seen success?
Oh, in fact, Hank made a point before we went live, and his point was that if you identify the extra skill sets of your various team members that can apply to help the other team members, you want to be able to encourage that. So, for example, if we have a team member, as Hank mentioned, who is really great in social media, we'll encourage that one team member to help the other team members produce their social media, so everyone starts to win, and to teach them how to do that. There's your recognition, there's your respect, and there's your teamwork and your camaraderie. It makes sense. Absolutely. Definitely works.
That's fantastic. We're getting close to the end, and I just want to make sure that we don't forget to address this. How do we leverage the strength of our part-time staff to expand our business, or to expand our business growth? How do we encourage them to share their ideas, even though sometimes we really don't want to take them? But how do we encourage that? And have you seen any successes with your part-time staff really leveraging and helping you grow your business?
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah. Go ahead, Bob. You're the.
His hands
See,
are going again.
Here's the challenge we have. Traditionally, part-time people have been not respected at all because they're part-time people. But we're recruiting part-time people because they reflect the value, the mission of our organization. So that by definition means they contribute value. Whatever they do as part of their job description is designed to give a better sense of a customer experience to our customers.
That's great.
It's so valuable. And even within 10 hours or 15 hours, if the expectation is met, fantastic. I'll take 20 part-time people who can generate a fantastic experience times 20. Absolutely. Respect. They need respect. We have to respect.
All right. Talking about training, I did want to share with you guys. Wait, I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. Let me show this to you. We've got a wonderful event coming up. It's all online. It's Saturday, September 14th. We also have it on, the certifications are going to be Sunday on September 15th. We are very lucky because we have 30 sessions that are going to be going on with 20 renowned educators and 15 CECs. And we've got 10 great sponsors that are going to be there. Everything is we're very excited about it. Also, if any of you are interested in traveling to Chicago on October 4th through 6th, we are having it at the Hilton Hotel right in Chicago O'Hare, free shuttle bus from O'Hare Airport. You got to love it. We've got about 200 cutting edge sessions, 70 world-renowned presenters. We have 24 CECs from all the major organizations, 22 sponsors, 3 days of fantastic education, and it's all in one wonderful event. So we are really hoping to see you guys at these wonderful events, and we will make sure that we see you all next month with our next webinar. Again, we want to thank Zen Planner, Hank Ebling, Bob Esqueri, Ann Gilbert, Roberto Milani, and of course, Chris Senejan, our creative director. Sarah Cooperman signing off here. Take care, everybody, and have a very wonderful Labor Day weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, gang.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.